This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are. Thank you for downloading this SmackDown review as part of the WWE podcast. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along once again, and welcome to everybody. I hope you guys in the US enjoyed your Thanksgiving and had some quality time with those you love. I guess now we are full steam ahead to Christmas, and hopefully someone has started defrosting Mariah Carey and Michael Bublé. So let's talk WarGames and let's talk predictions, which I am famously pants at. So first up, we have the women's WarGames match. I'm going for a win for Team Rhea. I think she's going to beat the absolute spit out of Liv, and I think we might finally get to see the Tiffy cash in. Next, we've got the men's WarGames match. This is a tough one, but I think a win for the New Bloodline. I don't think, and I really hope, Heyman betrays Roman, but I do think we see Rock and his allegiance will be revealed, whatever that is. Gunther versus Damian Priest for the title. I am going for a Priest win here. WWE have been weakening Gunther recently for some reason, and that could be a total red herring, and he could smash Damian, or as I choose to believe, he is about to drop the belt to Damian. So that's what I hope. Intercontinental title, we've got Bron Breakker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser. I'm pretty sure that Kaiser doesn't stand a chance here. There's a small chance, I guess, that Sheamus wins, so he can get the completed Grand Slam. The Intercontinental title is, I think, the only one that he doesn't have. But I actually think it's much more likely that Bron Breakker retains. And so that would be my prediction here. We've then got a US title match, which is LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Again, I think this is a really tough one. I'm not ready for Knight's reign to be over, but I do have a feeling that Shinsuke wins in what will be, I think, a brilliant and a very brutal match. So let's see how we do. Another completely Triple H card, where I guess we're going to get less matches but more match time, which I think is probably what we all want to see. So let's see how we do. Anything over 50%, and I'm taking that as a huge win, because as you know, I'm very bad at predicting things, and I think I have gone with my heart on a couple of these. But anywho, let's see. So let's get on with our main event, so to speak, and let's get on with the review of this Go Home SmackDown. So we get started with a recap of last week's Bloodline segment, pretty much reminding us A, that the wise man is back, and B, that Punk is the fifth man, which, by the way, is absolutely freaking awesome. I am so chuffed that we get to see Punk in this capacity. We get a preview of we get Punk on the brain. We get a preview of tonight's show, where we've got a sit down between Heyman, Punk and Roman, which should be good to see. And we also have the men's WarGames advantage match, which is Jey Uso versus Jacob Fatu. Before any of that, though, we get down to some live action, and we hit Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, Bayley and Rhea, the women's WarGames team. Coming out, the crowd go absolutely nuts for Rhea, and it was you could hear the difference in the pops. I mean, none of these women are unpopular with the crowd. Everyone likes them, but my goodness, you could really hear the difference for Rhea's pop. She looked like she was absolutely loving it as well. Cole reminds us of Jade getting injured last week, and we now know that Jade has a real life injury. I'm not sure we know what that injury is in real life, but that's the kayfabe reason for her being written off. We get a replay from Raw where we see Bayley coming to the rescue of Bianca, and basically that's how Bayley's ended up on the team. The ladies are all now in the ring, and Bianca is looking pretty badass. She actually looks like she's tweaked her look a little bit. I don't know if this is just me or she seems to be going slightly darker, but let's see. Rhea says she knows not everyone on the team are the best of friends, but that doesn't matter because tomorrow night they step into WarGames and they all have somebody on the opposing team that they want to get their hands on. No one's going to stop them from brutalising the other team. Naomi says that Nia and her lapdogs are going to get it from her and Bayley. She says the glow will be felt and dealt. That's a pretty cool line, like that. A nice bit of development. Bianca says she knows it was one of the opposing team who injured Jade, and they're all going to pay. Io gets one line and says, "We will destroy you." And at that point, Liv's music hits, which is interesting. So note difference between the face team and the heel team. Face team, everyone got, admittedly, a very short, but still their own music, their own entrance. And in the heel team, everyone just comes out to Liv's music, including Nia. Which you would have thought, with Nia's general attitude and thinking she's body every self, you would have thought she would have objected to that, but everyone comes out to Liv's music. Liv says she thinks it's funny how confident they are that they will beat them. Nia starts dropping some truths to the face team about how they actually have all got issues with each other. It's all true. Bayley says what we have all been thinking about Nia and Tiffy, as in that they're both basically using each other. Nia using Tiffany to keep her close so she can keep an eye on the briefcase, and Tiffy keeping Nia close, looking like she's playing the long game. Liv then says she thinks it's interesting that Jade got attacked and now Bayley is on the WarGames team. That seems to just pretty much go over everyone's head. And Rhea says soon you won't be able to hide behind anyone. There's nowhere to run at WarGames and she will have to face her. Rhea says she's going to cave Liv's face in so bad that Dom won't even want to look at her, which I thought was a pretty cool line, actually. Really like that. So Liv and the Hill team walk away, start to go up the ramp, but the faces attack them, and we have a brawl inside and outside the ring. Security and officials come out to break it all up, and the crowd are chanting "let them fight," which obviously they're not going to do because they don't want to give away all the goodies from the PLE. So I'm pretty excited about this match, I have to say. I think it's going to be excellent. We have all the individual rivalries on the opposing teams intertwined, but also with the overlay that can they all get on with each other on both sides. When you add into that Tiffy's briefcase and her being in the ring with both champions, I think this match could be match of the night. And I really think this may be my fourth PLE in a row that I've predicted this, but I really think this is where we will see Tiffy cash in. And I actually think it might be on Liv with an assist from Nia, so saving her own arse in the process. I don't know what you guys think about that, but I actually think if we get Liv dethroned, maybe Rhea does kick her ass as well. This could be the start of some kind of the second implosion of Judgment Day, but let's see. We have Andrade versus Shinsuke up next, a grudge match, because Andrade believes that Shinsuke has cut the line on the US title picture, which, to be fair, is a good point. Come back from nowhere, and he's got himself a title shot. So this will be Shinsuke's first proper match back, and his music has had a bit of a tweak to match his new bad image. It's much darker, and it's all a bit less camp, which I like. He looks the business as he comes down. Cole mentions that Shinsuke is much more sinister and evil this time round, and Corey adds that he has spoken to Shin. Shinsuke Nakamura, and he has says he's been meditating and he's opened the door in his mind, which has led to this version of himself. So I really like that, and I really like the new Shinsuke character. So as we kick off this match, we have Shinsuke straight on the attack, flooring Andrade, who turns things around and hits a lateral press from the top rope. But again, Shinsuke regains the upper hand with Andrade in the corner. Andrade rushes Shin out of the corner and tries a quick pin. But Shinsuke, with one of his massive kick, floors Andrade. And Shinsuke is going up to the top rope. Andrade spots it and boots him off and hits a moonsault to the outside, which was a beautiful move, especially in the slow-mo. Both guys back in the ring, and Andrade seems to have the upper hand, but again, Shinsuke goes up to the top and attacks again. Again, Andrade fights back, hitting his double moonsault, which is beautiful as always, from the top rope, getting a 2 count. Andrade looks for the message, but Shinsuke counters. Andrade hits a back elbow and gets another 2 count, and I actually thought he had it there. So that was good, suspending a bit of belief. Andrade tries for the three amigos, but only gets 2, with Shinsuke countering the third. But Andrade manages to smash Shinsuke into the corner. Andrade goes for knees in the corner, but Shinsuke has somehow removed the turnbuckle cover. So Andrade runs straight into that, is basically out of it, which allows Shinsuke to hit the Kinshasa and get the win. So I'm loving the new Shinsuke. He is evil as hell. And in the ring, he has, in conjunction with his new persona, he's slowed things right down and is very purposeful. And that only adds to his new mean personality. So I'm absolutely loving this. After the match, we get LA Knight appearing at speed, and he tries to lump Shinsuke, but he gets missed to the eyes, which even now even Shinsuke's mist is black, which looks super cool. And actually, in slow-mo, you can see at the speed of which this all happened. It was pretty cool. So very much enjoying the new Shinsuke, so to speak. Really good stuff. We now go backstage, where we have the new Bloodline preparing for the match between Jacob Fatu and Jey Uso later on. Presumably that is our main event this evening. We get Nick Aldis coming up, or Oblivion the Gladiator as we know him, comes along and says to them that the match tonight is critically important and he doesn't want the numbers game affecting the match tonight, so he bans everyone from ringside. I'm not convinced that'll work, but it's a nice try. I'm glad someone's actually just trying to stop them. As Matt has said recently, it's a bit weird as the advantage is so short term and the match doesn't even start till everyone is in. I mean, if I was a heel, I would totally try and hunker down somewhere out of the way until the match actually started. And what's the point in getting the hell beat out of you if it doesn't even count? Details, I guess, to WWE. But one day I hope they're going to change the rules to WarGames, because I think it's a bit dumb. We now get Ciampa and Johnny backstage. Ciampa, still seemingly quite wound up, is asking Johnny, what do they do now? He says they've been screwed, and Ciampa is getting more and more mad. Johnny says that things have changed. Ciampa says he doesn't care. He thinks Johnny's friendship with Alex is obviously more important than DIY having their titles back. He says he's sick of talking, and he gives Johnny an ultimatum, telling them that he has 1 week to sort it out, or they will be doing it Ciampa's way. Which, to be fair, is a bit weird because I think Ciampa has been doing things his way the last couple of weeks. He's interrupted, a couple of matches, and he's certainly been giving out the beatdowns and shoving people around. So I'm not quite sure how much more they could do it. But I guess with that week's ultimatum, we're definitely going to know next week if we're getting either a heel Johnny, and he's going to go all in with Ciampa, or if we're getting the DIY split. So that'll be good to see next week. We then get a promo from KO. He says there are still people out there on the side of Cody and he doesn't understand that. He goes on to explain why he's right, which is a nice little link to his new t-shirt, Kevin Was Right, which I'm definitely going to buy. He gives us a timeline of all the bad things that the OG bloodline had done to him, dating back to the Thunderdome or pandemic era, whatever we're calling it these days. He seems to blame Cody for teaming with Roman, which on the face of it is a fair point, but actually I think it's a bit of a stretch, and bear with me here. I think it's because things change over time. The Roman that Cody teamed with wasn't really the same Roman who was the leader of the OG bloodline back in 2021. I mean, obviously, yeah, he's the same guy, but it's not the same situation, is it? I don't really think so. I mean, it certainly makes for an interesting storyline, and as always, KO is selling that storyline like an absolute star. We do have a confirmed match for the Undisputed title at Saturday night's main event on December 14th. I still didn't find out how we can watch this in the UK yet, but it is shaping up to be such a great show that I've really got to make it a priority to figure out how I can watch that here. If anyone knows, can you somehow let me know? And now we have Cody. He comes out, and this week he's back to his old self. Obviously, he's in ring gear because he has a match, but he makes a lot more of his entrance as he makes his way to the ring for his match versus Carmelo. En route to the ring, Carmelo has something to say, and he actually says that KO was right, and he did turn his back on him. He says Cody isn't the guy to stab people in the back, he just stabs them right in the front. And he says, with friends like Cody, who needs enemies? Corey says that Carmelo has got too big for his boots. I just want to, you guys know this. I have been saying that for months. This boy thinks he is body every self. As we start the match, we get a tie-up, a couple of quick pin attempts for both guys. Cody catches Carmelo with a sucker punch, and both guys back to a face-off in the middle of the ring. Carmelo goes for a sneak attack from behind the referee, which I thought was really fun. And Cody flies out of the ring, hits Carmelo's head off the announce desk, but Carmelo with a kick to Cody's knee. Cody goes for the disaster kick, and Melo is down. Cody with a massive vertical suplex from the second break. And there was something kind of weird with this footage for me tonight. We didn't get very many breaks in the UK. I think it was because this is a pre-recorded show, so obviously TNT Sports have done some kind of shenanigans with the footage, but obviously you can tell when the match goes for an advert break because they're either on the outside or they're somebody's compromised and somebody else is showing off to the crowd, and then we got just a straight flashback to the action. But quite often tonight the action had completely changed with no explanation. So obviously we're missing something. There was a replay from the ad break. It was all a little bit confusing with the footage here. But anyway, that's obviously an us problem. So back to the match. Carmelo hits a facebuster on Cody and goes for a cover, getting a 2 count. Cody with a running power slam and then into the figure 4, which I don't think we've seen very often from Cody, and Cole's saying that shows a mark of respect from Cody to Melo, that he's taking him seriously. Melo manages to get to the ropes, forcing the break, and they go back to trading blows in the centre of the ring. Hayes gets the upper hand briefly, hitting Cody with a couple of moves off the ropes, gets another 2 count. Melo goes up to the top, but Cody ducks and tries the crossroad, but Melo sneaks out of that. And then Cody finally does manage to hit the crossroads and get the win. To be fair to Melo, he took the crossroads like a champ and actually made it look pretty good. It actually looked like he spiked his head as well. So one of the best sell jobs that possibly we've seen on the crossroads, I think. So it was a decent match. Bit of a go-home show filler. I don't think I ever thought that Carmelo really ever had a chance, but it was nice to watch. Was expecting that KO might make an appearance, but he didn't. So I'm wondering if they will not get their hands on each other at all now until the match. And that always adds to the awesomeness of a big grudge match like this. I have a question though. Does it need the title involved? I'm not sure it does. But it is, so that's the thing. But it could have been just as good without. And here's why I think that. It's not really about the title. It's about what KO thinks is betrayal. And it's about Cody wanting vengeance for the way KO has been behaving. But also, obviously, what he did to Randy. So, I don't think we needed the title involved here at all. But it is. Anyway, just my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys think. We now go to the pre-recorded sit-down between Heyman, Roman and Punk. And it looks like Punk is late, which obviously is bound to tick off Roman. He gets up to leave just as Punk appears. And Punk tells him that he didn't show up for Roman, he showed up for the wise man. Roman says, let's get one thing straight, I don't need your help. Punk says he doesn't want to give it, but he is helping Heyman. Roman says that he doesn't like anything about Punk and he doesn't want to team with him. Heyman now butts in and says that Solo has had them in checkmate since WrestleMania and Roman needs Punk. He then says to Punk that if he doesn't help Roman win tomorrow night, then Punk will be next on Solo's list. Heyman says divided we will fall to Solo, but united we will survive. Punk says that he wants revenge for what the Bloodline did to Heyman, and he says they can revisit this feud after WarGames if Roman wants. Roman agrees one time, Punk agrees one time, and Heyman will owe him a favour. Roman wants to know what the favour is, and Heyman says, let's talk about it after WarGames. And he looks so shifty. And I just think, oh my God, I hope he isn't about to turn on Roman. What's the favour? Maybe Heyman can get Punk a title shot and jump the queue in front of Roman. But then Roman hasn't really mentioned the title since he's been back. It's all been about family and tribal chiefdom and all that stuff. So I can't really see that would bother him. But then I'm not sure what else Heyman can offer Punk unless they have got a plan to turn on Roman. But I don't think if Punk did turn on Roman at WarGames, do we think that Punk would become a heel? Do we think, because the crowd are still so behind Punk, I'm not sure they would boo him. But if he joins the new bloodline, they would have to boo him, which is why I do not think that Punk and Heyman will turn on Roman. Maybe Heyman will, Punk won't. And that's going to be a massive twist, because we're kind of used to booing Heyman. I mean, obviously, we're all really glad to see him come back. And that was great, because we hadn't seen him for such a long time. But actually, we normally do boo Heyman. So, and Heyman is the ultimate cockroach, isn't he? You know? After the nuclear Armageddon, it will be just the cockroaches and Heyman. So I wonder if Heyman turns, becomes wise man for Solo. But then the new bloodline, you know, basically tried to kill Heyman. They put him through a table, absolutely smashed him up, took him out for months. So would Heyman join the new bloodline? I don't think so. I must stick with my prediction. Neither of them are turning, guys. Neither of them are turning. Happy place. Anyway, we now have the next match in the Women's US title tournament. This is the one that Jade Cargill was supposed to be in, so we're going to find out who the opponent is. So we've got Piper Niven and Lash Legend, who is the replacement for Jade. Not what I was expecting, but never mind. Versus Michin. So comms are telling us how outgunned Michin is here, and we actually kick off with her being very smart and quick, managing to duck out the way, getting Lash to punch Piper, but predictably Piper soon gets the upper hand, hitting a crossbody on Michin, going for an early cover, broken up by Lash. Plenty of that in this match. We then get some power moves from both Piper and Lash Legend. Michin in the ring takes out Lash and Piper on the outside as she goes for a moonsault. Chelsea gets involved and drags Meechin off the apron. Randomly, B-Fab comes out and literally chases Chelsea up the ramp and out of the ring area. And off the distraction, Lash Legend hits a massive kick on Piper. And again, here we get no break in the UK, but a very weird time jump. And we have Piper in with Meechin and a cover that again Lash breaks up. Piper takes out Lash and goes for a splash from the second rope, with Meechin breaking the pin this time. And Lash with a backbreaker on Meechin, leaving Lash and Piper to it. Chokeslam on Piper, but she kicks in too. And Meechin now back in as Lash is busy chopsing off to the referee. All three women now down in the ring. And we get Piper with a running senton on both and covers Lash. Meechin again breaks up the pin for about the 100th time in this match. Piper has Meechin up on the top rope, but Lash interrupts Piper with a senton from the second rope, but Lash gets out of the way. And then she hits Lash extension on Piper. Meechin breaks the cover and somehow sneaks in for the pin and the 3 count. So Meechin with the win. I thought actually, despite the constant breaking up of pins, which was kind of a bit tedious towards the end, it was a really good match. Lash Legend made a good account of herself. I wonder, though, how much they had to change the story with the real life injury to Jade. I wonder, was Meechin winning from the beginning, or were they actually going for the Jade and Bianca match somehow throughout the brackets? I guess we'll never know that, but I think Meechin winning here is a good outcome, and she absolutely deserves a good run, and I think this new Women's US title would be a great one for her to hold and hopefully have a good long run with. I'm looking forward to the rest of this tournament actually, and who finally gets the title. There's some really, really interesting women left in this tournament, so I think this is shaping up to be pretty good, and I really hope that once the winner is determined, I really hope that WWE do their best to maintain it, rather than some of the dodgy runs that we've had with the main titles. We now go backstage to Byron, who has LA Knight with him, and he asks how this affects his status for tomorrow night. Knight says, let's talk about Shinsuke. He turns up and he has a problem, but after tomorrow night he will have a real problem. He will be at Survivor Series and drop him on his head and retain the title. So short and sweet from LA Knight there. He's obviously got the hump with Shinsuke, quite right too. So I think that's going to be a good match. Looking forward to it. Next up, we get Sammy and Jimmy getting Jey ready for his match with Jacob Fatu. Nick Aldis appears again. He's a bit like Mr. Ben tonight. There's a niche reference there for anyone in the UK of a certain age. He tells them the same thing, that they are also banned from ringside for this match. Jey is out to the biggest pop of the night. The whole place is yeeting as usual. Absolutely phenomenal. I'd actually love to be there to take part in some yeeting. I might actually go to some of the shows next year. Jacob Fatu taboos. And Cole tells us that this is his first one-on-one match in WWE. Hadn't realised that. He has settled in really well, and he does look like a good signing for WWE. So again, this is the advantage. This is for the advantage in the men's WarGames match. We start with Fatu getting Jey in the corner, and I noticed that the ring posts on the outside haven't got any covering on them. Don't they usually have branding or LEDs or something? And here they look like they're just metal, so I don't know what's happened there. Perhaps it's intentional. Anyway, the match. Fatu is shouting, I love you, Solo. I love you, Solo. And is pretty much beating down Jey. Jey, with a fight back, rolls Fatu to the outside, follows up with a suicide dive, but Fatu just catches him out of midair and takes back over, ramming Jey into the naked ring post. Fatu still has the upper hand. He's got Jey in a submission hold, which Corey called something up, which I missed, something like a trapezius press or something. Getting him up on the shoulders, but Jey slips out and causes Fatu to run into the ring post twice on opposite sides of the ring. Jey now punching Jacob Fatu, who's rocked but doesn't go down. Jey with a super kick, and finally Fatu goes down in the corner, which results in Jey hitting him in the corner with his running ass and straight into the cover, but Fatu kicks out in 2. Jey off the second rope, but is caught by Fatu, who slams him into the mat and hits a moonsault. Again, Jey kicks in 2, and then Jey goes for a super kick, but Jacob Fatu from out of nowhere hits a pop-up Samoan drop, and again Jey kicks in 2. Fatu up to the top, but Jey gets the knees up and basically manages to look like he hits Jacob Fatu right in the head, which is quite good. He then manages to hit a spear and goes straight up and hits an Uso splash. I thought it was all over here. Gets the cover, but Fatu kicks in 2. And honestly, Jacob Fatu finally looks a little bit shell-shocked here, which is probably the first time I've ever seen him properly rocked. He rolls at the ring. Jey hits a suicide dive and starts to clear the announce desk. Jey goes to take out Fatu, but is intercepted, and Samoan drops Jey on the announce table. Rolls Jey back in and hits an implant DDT, followed by a moonsault, and gets the cover for the win, meaning that the New Bloodline have the advantage in the WarGames match. Like I said previously, guys, I don't think that the WarGames advantage thing makes much sense, but it was a great match, whatever. Really enjoyable. No one came out from either side during the match, which is a refreshing change. And as we go off air, we have the New Bloodline with the ones up and the crowd booing. Cole mentioned in comms something which I totally forgot, which was that the Shield were originally CM Punk's mercenaries. So even behind the Punk Heyman story is another story. There's just layers and layers and layers, which is brilliant. So this was another good show tonight. A couple of placeholders, but I think that's to be expected on a go-home show, particularly ahead of something as premium as Survivor Series, I guess. But everything is set up absolutely perfectly for Survivor Series. I hope we get a great PLE. I hope we get The Rock and Say It Quietly, maybe Charlotte Flair. Say it even more quiet, but I have heard there's a rumour that the man might be coming back soon. Oh, I am a huge Becky fan. And if we ended up with Punk and Becky, I would be very, very happy. And that would be like utopia for me in the world of WWE. So let's all sit back today, whenever you're listening. Maybe it's yesterday, maybe it's the day before. Who knows? The joy of podcasts. But let's all sit back and enjoy Survivor Series. And we'll look forward to doing a little review of it next week before we have another look at SmackDown. So that just about does it for this week's show. And as always, thank you for having me in your ears. And until next time, remember, be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.